This armed tribesman is a soldier in the Middle East's forgotten war, a small, unpublicized conflict between Arab and Arab, which has already caused hundreds of deaths. This is the border area between North and South Yemen, two entirely separate nations with very differing views on the role and future of this part of the Arabian Peninsula. The present dispute's been simmering for several years, but in recent weeks there's been sustained fighting involving heavy artillery, tanks and even aircraft. The political division of Yemen into north and south is of recent origin. What isn't recent is the Yemenis' reputation as a fierce and warlike people. Back in the Middle Ages, a dispute over a camel called Batul led to a 100 years' war between rival tribes. The latest conflict is more seriously grounded, but it began in typically Yemeni fashion. Earlier this year, a North Yemeni sheikh and 65 of his followers were invited to a feast and a parley on the other side of the border, only to be massacred one and all by their southern hosts. Although the present conflict may appear obscure, it's certainly not insignificant. The two Yemens are situated at the mouth of the Red Sea, a highly strategic corner of one of the world's chronically sensitive areas. Any instability is of great concern to their neighbours, such as Saudi Arabia and the other oil-rich sheikdoms of the Gulf. The Romans knew Yemen as Arabia Felix, or fertile Arabia. In fact, it's only fertile in comparison with the sandy wastes of the Arabian desert to the north of it. Neither Yemen has any oil wealth of its own, and both countries are by any standards poor. These scenes could have been filmed either side of the border. In fact, they're in South Yemen, a country nearly as big as Spain, with a population of only 1.5 million. South Yemen, officially known as the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen, is ruled from Aden, the former British colony and staging post. Aden was, for many years, one of the vital links in Britain's military strategy east of Suez. But important as it was, it became too hot for the British to hold. This was Aden in 1967. A 4-year battle for independence had gradually eroded British authority in the colony. Terrorist attacks and bombings became almost daily occurrences, and British troops were stretched to the limit. As in Cyprus, the British found themselves facing not just one enemy, but two. Aden's freedom fighters were split between the National Liberation Front and the Front for the Liberation of Occupied South Yemen, or FLOSSY. Rivalry between the two groups was intense, and British troops were often caught in the crossfire. The continuing toll of British lives and property, together with a revision of Britain's east of Suez policy, combined to make independence inevitable. In November 1967, the last British troops beat a hasty retreat. By this time, the struggle between the rival Adenese factions was largely over. The National Liberation Front had won, and thousands of FLOSSY men were driven into exile in the north. The streets of Aden were filled with the jubilant supporters of the National Liberation Front. After nearly 130 years of colonial rule, Aden and its hinterland of former sheikdoms was an independent nation. The new leadership was determinedly left-wing, but lasted only 18 months before being swept away by an even more extreme branch of the NLF, a regime now committed to spreading Marxist revolution. During the colonial period, much of Aden's wealth had been controlled by Britons or other foreigners, a state of affairs which the new Marxist leadership set out to remedy as quickly as possible. A series of workers' revolts ended in the nationalization of large sectors of the economy, including banking, insurance, and many smaller businesses such as cinemas and petrol stations. The effect was not entirely beneficial. Many businessmen fled to the north, leading to a severe shortage of private investment capital.